Hello everyone and welcome to Fresh Master Channel. Today we are going to have some story from Reddit. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel.
My 29 male, wife 30 female, gave me her old phone. I discovered she cheated on me 9 years ago, right after I involved myself in a complicated love triangle with her ex. I met my wife in college where she was going through a difficult breakup. She got dumped by her ex of 5 years, and we literally met on the day of their breakup. We started hanging out a lot and eventually started hooking up. Her ex was living with her, so she would leave and come to my place often. After about 2 months of casual dating, flirting, and hooking up, I asked her to be my girlfriend, date exclusively. She said yes. She was also still living in the same house with her ex. Stupid me involved myself with a girl fresh out of a long term relationship, but whatever. Eventually, he moved out and we carried on. The rest is history, or so I thought. This past weekend, she let me take her old iPhone to ring up as a screen for a fitness bike thing I was working on. When I charged it and powered it on, she had all her old text on it. I shouldn't have, but I snooped. There were conversations on there from 9 years ago with her best friend. One of the last conversations between her and her best friend was clearly about her sleeping with her ex and feeling terrible about it, a mistake, how she hated him, etc. The conversation basically ended with her friend telling her to just pretend it never happened and move on. There was also a conversation with her ex. The last message to him was, "Please don't ever contact me again," after he asked to meet up. These conversations were on the same day, about 1 month after we became exclusive. I approached my wife about it after I read them, and she started crying. She told me that while he was moving his things out of her house over the course of a few days, he started apologizing for dumping her, saying he was wrong for doing so, wanted her back. She was his true love, etc. He made a move one day, they started kissing, and they had sex. She said she thought for a moment she might have still had feelings for him, but she immediately regretted it and told him she had moved on and that he needed to move on as well. Apparently, that's when he blew up and started calling her names, threatening her, etc. So she kicked him out for good and never looked back. We've been together for 9 years, married for five. We have two young kids. I'm obviously super upset and not thinking entirely straight, but I'm trying to figure out what to do. She says it was the biggest mistake of her life and buried it in her memory, decided to try and forget and move on with me. But she still cheated on me. Granted, it was only a few weeks into our relationship and it was with the guy she was with for 5 years, but it still hurts. Is it worth blowing up my life for that mistake? I have no reason to believe she has been unfaithful since. Update. It's been almost 3 months since my original post. Figured I'd provide an update here. It's a bit long, but a lot happened. To say things have been difficult would be an understatement. This has been by far the most emotionally draining experience I've ever had. But we're still together and plan on staying together for now. We've spent the last 3 months in couples therapy and individual therapy. Before we started therapy, we had several one sided fights, essentially, me just getting very angry with her and demanding truth, details, etc. I was livid and probably could have handled it better. But hindsight is 2020. She didn't hold anything back. She came clean about all the details. First, her original story wasn't exactly true. She actually drove over to his new house one night right after he moved out because he asked her to come over and talk about their relationship, what happened, where they were wrong. She went over there, obviously without me knowing, and he ended up begging for her back. Told her all the things she never heard from him while they were together. She was good enough, skinny enough, fun enough, pretty enough, and that he made a mistake by dumping her. She said she got confused, looked at the 5, 6 years they'd been together versus our 1 month, and thought she may have been throwing away all those years over a mistake. So, in the moment, she saw me as a rebound, decided to get back with him, and slept with him that night. She spent that night at his house and left in the morning. She said the next day she felt an overwhelming sense of guilt for cheating on me, messaged her friend about things, and ended up deciding to stay with me, as she realized her ex wasn't the right partner for her, regardless of the amount of time she had invested in their relationship. So that's when she said she cut him off for good, carried on with me, and never looked back. The text messages and other pieces of evidence support that. During couples therapy, a few things were made clear. First, our therapist made a connection between her infidelity line and her offense suffered both as a child and as an adult. She had issues with her family member, now deceased, in her teenage. When she came to her mother in her late teens about it, her mother told her to keep it quiet because the family would be embarrassed over such a thing. Our therapist said that the line by a mission to maintain peace could likely stem from that conditioning. Obviously, still wrong, but our therapist seems to think that contributed to her keeping it from me. She also made the connection between the offense and having a difficult time letting go of staying in toxic relationships as a source of comfort that made sense to us. Second, our therapist encouraged us to look at the situation from the perspective of ourselves at the time and not as a married couple with children. How invested were we in each other at a month? Was I asking too much from her? Was she capable of being in a new exclusive relationship 3 months out of a 6 year relationship? All things we had to go back and process. At the end of the day, while still wrong, I can emphasize where she was, alone for the first time in almost 6 years, lost, young, acting on impulse, and searching for a sense of normalcy and comfort. Third, she encouraged us to start a new relationship. This has been hard as I'm a sentimental person by nature, and all of our memories are difficult to integrate the new information into. But she did say that we can hold our old memories close to us, reminding me that the infidelity did occur just 1 month into our relationship and everything we build after is valid. After tearing between divorce and staying, waiting out the options, listening to our counselors, and reading the comments from my last thread, it seems the right move here is to stay and work things out. Someone had said in the last thread, if you blow your life up over this, what would you say to your kids? That they can only see you 50% of the time because their mother cheated on you 9 years ago, 1 month into your relationship, and you left her for it? That's really hit home. Yes, someone else did mention, but hey, she lied every day for 9 years. Yes, while that is true, she did lie by omission. I can emphasize with the fact that the lie grew to such a great lie that it became extremely disruptive if moving past it was the easier, while not exactly the right thing to do. My wife opening up to me about her feelings during the infidelity has helped as well. She explained to me that felt like she met me too early, that I was this great guy she didn't want to lose, but hadn't proceeded the end of her last relationship. So she admits she selfishly agreed to exclusively date me without being certain of what she really wanted. She told me that when her ex came back claiming he made a mistake by dumping her, it caused all kinds of emotions to resurface and made her question everything me, him, what she wanted. She also said that sleeping with him that night provided her with closure. She told me the sex they had was awkward and felt forced, like they were only doing it for old time's sake and a sense of normalcy. I said during counseling that felt like a lie that she was downplaying it for my benefit, and I was sure they had intimate and amazing sex that night. My counselor continued by saying if it really was all that great, Do you think she would have told him to never contact him again the next day and immediately go back to you? I guess not. All in all, my rational mind says stay and move on, but my emotions are still running wild. Anger, resentment, sadness, all there. I said during therapy that hurts is knowing there was a time where she wanted him more than me. What my counselor and my wife have said is that it was a fleeting moment of confusion, and if she really wanted him, she would have been able to, as he was begging for her back, so deal with it. And it's my ego that keeping me from moving out of that mindset. Anyway, that's the update. We are still together. I'm trying to move on, trying to integrate the new information into my story, and hoping that more time will help this to become a blip on my radar because really, I do love my life. I love my kids and my wife, and leaving her over a mistake that happened so long ago feels like it takes my life in a direction that I don't want. No offense to anyone that is, but I don't want to be a single father of two dating in my 30s. I also couldn't imagine my life without my current wife. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. To be honest, if I was with someone for 9 years and they said that 1 month and they cheated one time and never again, and I had a reason to believe that, especially in the circumstances described. I wouldn't even care. 30 days in, cheating with an ex of many years, and never again, and things are healthy after 9 years. I wouldn't even be that mad, because it's the same guy she was with prior to you anyway. It's not like it was a new strange. I recommend trying to just get over it. What's the 1 month? It was a transitional period, and even with the zag from the ex fresh in her mind, she actively chose you. That's a big compliment. Try to get past it, for real. Comment 2. This sounds more like your wife's therapist than a couple's therapist. The therapist is happy to rationalize it from your wife's perspective. Family issues sounds horrible, but it's still not an excuse for cheating, but doesn't seem to care about why it's so traumatic for you. That whole can of worms hasn't been properly addressed. Edit. OP, find a you damn couples therapist. You guys need a fresh perspective. Comment 3. Do you have any doubt that she loves you or that she regrets she had chosen you? Because it was a decision she made and she made a decision for you. If you believe her that she loves you, that she wants to be with you and only you, and if you believe her that she never regretted the decision she made, then go to her and tell her that. Allow her to be the wife that you deserve to have by your side and that she wants to be.